A bit over a month ago, I launched my first ever game, Cat Survivors. It's a survivors-like game with a twist. Not only do you have to survive waves of enemies, but you also have to survive random events like spikes, meteorites, and even black holes. This was my first commercial release, and I started it for two reasons. First of all, to learn Godot after Unity's big, disaster. But the second and most important reason was to prove to myself that I could actually finish a project. Like many others, I used to start a game with tons of excitement, only to abandon them a month later when a new idea crossed my mind. But this time, after 8 months of development, I finally managed to finish a game. To be fair, I didn't work on the game full-time for those 8 months. In fact, for almost 3 months I was extremely burnt out, and I would just change the player's sprite, or I would slightly modify one or two stats to see how it felt. I didn't do it because I'm an extreme perfectionist like many others. I was just scared. Putting something that you created with tons of effort out there for everyone to judge is difficult, which is actually the same reason why I delayed this YouTube channel for months. I was afraid of the negative feedback being too much for me and ruining this little game dev dream of mine. Instead, what I found was tons of support. Whether it was comments in my videos, people playing my game and recording playthroughs, or just the fact that some people played it for 6 or more hours, seeing those numbers, even though for many people they may be small, made it all seem worth it. So I want to thank every single person who has left a comment, watched my videos, or played my game. And so here's what you're probably waiting for. In the first month, my game made $377 in total revenue. That is, before taxes, chargebacks, and Steam's cut. Is it life-changing? No, but as a first release, it feels like a huge milestone. Knowing that people not only enjoyed the game, but thought that it was worth their time and money is incredibly rewarding. It's a great start and has only fueled my drive to keep creating. When I released the game, it had 1,477 wishlists, which is way less than the ideal 7,000 many people aim for. The most important factor for getting this wishlist was the demo. While my devlog series helped a bit, getting people to try the game as well as participating in Steam Next Fest was what actually made the difference. Right before the demo, I had around 150 wishlists. That's 150 over a 4-month period. And 2 weeks after the demo release, I had already jumped to 550. So yeah, demos are definitely worth it. Then I continued working on my game, updating the demo only to fix some bugs and waiting for the big release in October. And by October 13th, I had 700 wishlists. Then, on October 14th, I participated in Steam Next Fest, which lasted until October 21st. And by the end of it, I had 1,396 wishlists, way more than I would have ever expected. And so, on October 25th, I hit publish and nothing. There was an error on Steam's side and my page got blocked, preventing me from publishing. I immediately opened a support ticket, and in less than 24 hours the problem was solved, and I could actually publish the game. After that, as is usual, the sales started pretty strong, to then decrease little by little, with just around 2 or 3 sales per week as of today. From those sales, 51% were coming from the US, 9% from Germany, 4% from Australia, and then Canada, Japan, and Spain with 3% each, for a total of 90 sales and 1 key activation. Honestly, the idea of 91 people wanting to play my game is absolutely mind-blowing, and once again, I'm super thankful. One strange thing I did notice is that the wishlist didn't really go up after the release. While researching this topic, I found that many people doubled their wishlist during the first week, but I barely got any. On top of that, many of my sales came from people who already wishlisted the game, so Steam didn't seem to share it with many new people on release. Maybe another big game launched that day, or maybe it has something to do with that error where I couldn't publish. I honestly don't know, but I also don't think that it would have made a major difference. So yeah, those are the numbers. $377 in a month, and $432 as I'm writing this. But did that meet my expectations? And how much did I spend to make the game? To answer the first question, my only expectation was to release the game. I didn't really care about the money, and anything over $100 to recover Steam's fee was more than welcome. As for the making of the game, the music cost me $30. I bought a few assets for $20 in total, and I also hired someone to create a logo for the game and another artist to make the Steam capsule. This was honestly a big mistake, and I only did it because I was lazy, because it cost me $140 in total, and I'm literally pixel artist. So yeah, no more laziness. I also had to hire 2 testers for $15 each, because there was an extremely nasty bug causing the game to crash whenever you leveled up. But there was no obvious error in the code, and I actually never found out what was causing it. But I somehow fixed it, so it worked out, I guess. With that, the total cost for the game was $320. So after Steam's cut, I'm still in the negative. But there's something you can do about it, because if we reach 10 reviews, Steam will promote the game a little bit more. So I don't know what you're waiting for, go play the game and leave a positive review. No, seriously. I'll be waiting for you, don't worry. On a more serious note, I already knew that I wouldn't make a lot of money. I was actually expecting even less. But that's precisely why I have a full-time job. This is mostly a hobby, and while turning it into a career is my dream, just the knowledge that I've gained from this is enough. So here's a few lessons I've learned. First of all, your game genre matters a lot. While the roguelike genre is great, the subgenre of survivor-likes is extremely crowded. You're also pretty much forced to set your price to $5, as any more will be too expensive for the genre, and if you reduce it, then it will be seen as a low-quality product. I also learned that you should stick to small development cycles where many elements can be recycled. I already knew this, but I honestly thought that it would take far less time to create this game. While my game wasn't extremely complex, having to design and develop so many different upgrades was no easy task. Every time I created a new one, it would be either overpowered or way too weak, with some being really interesting and others just meh, and each upgrade was something new to code. If instead I had made a twin-stick shooter, for example, like Enter the Gungeon or Nuclear Throne, while there would have been other challenges, many elements could have been reused with proper planning. Because all guns are still guns at the end of the day, no matter if they shoot bullets, lasers, or bananas. Under the hood, it's all the same. That's why my next game is a deck builder with almost no reusable aspects. Okay, maybe I didn't learn the lesson. But hey, if you're interested in that deck builder, drop a follow. I also obviously learned the importance of demos, and setting up your Steam page early to let those wishlists build up. If I had tried to rush the development, I could have finished in 3 months, yes. But I would have probably gotten $50 out of it. So there's no good reason to go faster. It's a marathon after all. I will make a video about the importance of demos in the future, but the idea for my next game is to finish a fully playable demo with just the basics, but completely polished, also called a vertical slice. For Cat Survivors, I had a demo that, in my opinion, wasn't as satisfying and fun as it could have been. I already had almost every upgrade and all the enemies, but the difficulty and the different stats weren't adjusted, and there was no progression, so you beat the game once and that's it. That could have worked for a game with a super original idea, but in this case, it just felt like an unpolished version of Rotato or Vampire Survivors. That's why I'm focusing on building a short but satisfying experience for my next game demo, where even though you may only be able to play for 20 or 30 minutes, it feels like an actual game and not a prototype. And that's all I got for now. If you want to support me, go check my game and leave a review. Christmas sales are around the corner. You can also check the devlog series here if you want, or this video which YouTube thinks you will like. See ya!